In the golden age of myth, when gods walked among mortals and the skies trembled with divine ambition, a whisper echoed through the halls of Olympus, a prophecy that would change everything. It was not a prophecy of war or destruction, but of birth. A child, born of wisdom, destined to surpass even Zeus himself. The gods listened, and the king of Olympus grew uneasy. For Zeus, ruler of the heavens, had long feared the cycle of succession. He had overthrown his own father, Cronus, who in turn had devoured his children to prevent being overthrown. Power in Olympus was never permanent, and now Zeus faced the same threat not from a warrior, but from a daughter. The prophecy came from Gaia, the ancient earth goddess, and it was clear Metis, the titaness of wisdom and cunning, would bear a child more powerful than her father. Metis was no ordinary consort. She was clever, calm, and calculating the embodiment of intellect. Zeus had taken her as his first wife, drawn to her brilliance, but now he feared her womb. The child she carried would be a goddess of immense power, one who would challenge the throne of Olympus itself. Zeus, ever the strategist, made a chilling decision. He would not allow the prophecy to unfold. He would swallow Metis whole. It was not the first time a god had consumed another to prevent fate. Cronus had done the same, devouring his children to avoid being overthrown. But Zeus believed he was wiser. By swallowing Metis, he would not only prevent the birth, he would absorb her wisdom, her essence, her power. And so, with a deceptive charm and a soft voice, Zeus lured Metis close. He praised her intellect, admired her foresight, and then, in one swift moment, consumed her. The gods watched in stunned silence. Metis was gone, and the prophecy, it seemed, had been thwarted. But fate is not so easily denied. Inside Zeus, Metis lived on. Her spirit, her mind, her brilliance all remained, growing stronger. And within her, the child continued to develop. Zeus began to suffer. At first, it was a dull ache, a pressure behind his eyes, a tension in his temples, but soon the pain became unbearable. Thunder misfired, lightning cracked without command, the skies darkened, and Olympus trembled. Zeus roared in agony, clutching his head, unable to understand the torment within. The gods gathered, helpless. Hera, his queen, looked on with suspicion. Apollo, the healer, could offer no cure. Poseidon, the brother, stood powerless. Only one god could help Hephaestus, the master of forge and fire. Hephaestus was not known for his bedside manner. Crippled and cast from Olympus at birth, he had earned his place through craftsmanship and resilience. Zeus summoned him, desperate. "Split my skull," he commanded. "Let the pain end." Hephaestus hesitated, but the order was clear. With divine precision, he raised his hammer and struck. The blow echoed across the heavens, and from the cleft in Zeus's forehead burst Athena fully grown, clad in armor, radiant and fierce. She emerged with a cry of war and a gaze of wisdom, the goddess of strategy, civilization, and intellect. The gods gasped. Never before had a birth occurred in such a way, not from womb, but from thought. Athena stood tall, her shield gleaming, her eyes calm. She was not a child, but a force. The prophecy had come true, not in defiance of Zeus, but through him. Metis had outwitted fate even in silence. Athena, born of wisdom and pain, was unlike any other deity. She did not seek vengeance. She did not crave power. She sought order, justice, and reason. And Olympus would never be the same. This was only the beginning. Athena's birth was not just a miracle, it was a turning point. Her presence would shape wars, guide heroes, and redefine what it meant to be divine. But her rise would not be without challenge. The gods, proud and competitive, would test her. Mortals, inspired and intimidated, would worship her. And Athena herself would walk the line between war and peace, intellect and instinct. In the next chapter, we'll explore how Athena claimed her place among the gods, faced rivals, and became the patron of one of the greatest cities in history. Athena's arrival on Olympus was unlike anything the gods had ever seen. Born not from flesh but from thought, She stood tall and radiant, her armor gleaming with celestial fire. She was not a child to be nurtured, nor a goddess to be tamed. She was wisdom incarnate, calm, strategic, and unshakably composed. The gods, stunned by her emergence, watched as she took her place among them, not with arrogance, but with quiet authority. Zeus, though relieved of his torment, now faced the reality of the prophecy fulfilled. Yet Athena did not seek his throne. She sought purpose. From the moment of her birth, Athena was drawn to the mortal world. Unlike many Olympians who reveled in divine indulgence, she saw humanity not as playthings, but as potential. She walked among cities, whispering ideas into the minds of philosophers, guiding craftsmen, and inspiring leaders. She taught mortals the value of reason over impulse, strategy over brute force. Her wisdom was not passive, it was active, shaping the very foundations of civilization. And soon, her influence would be tested in a contest that would define her legacy forever. The city of Cecropia, a thriving settlement in the heart of Greece, had grown under the watchful eyes of the gods. Its people were proud, its culture rich, and its future uncertain. The gods saw its potential and desired to claim it as their own. Two deities stepped forward, Poseidon, god of the sea, and Athena, goddess of wisdom. Each wanted to become the patron of the city, to shape its destiny in their image. Zeus, ever the mediator, proposed a contest. The god who could offer the most valuable gift to the city would win its devotion. Poseidon, confident and bold, stepped forward first. With a mighty strike of his trident, he split the earth, and from the fissure surged a fountain of water. The people gasped a miracle, but as they tasted the water, they all turned to disappointment. It was salt water, undrinkable and useless for agriculture. Poseidon had given them a symbol of power, but not of practicality. Athena, calm and deliberate, approached next. She knelt and pressed her hand to the soil. From the earth sprouted the tree, the olive. Its fruit was nourishing, its oil valuable, its wood strong. The people rejoiced. Athena had given them sustenance, economy, and peace. The choice was clear. The city chose Athena, and in her honor, it was renamed Athens. Poseidon, furious, cursed the land with drought, but Athena's gift endured. The olive tree became a symbol of prosperity, and the city flourished under her guidance. Athens would go on to become a beacon of philosophy, democracy, and art, all under the watchful eye of its patron goddess. But Athena's rise was not without resistance. Her wisdom challenged the impulsive nature of other gods, her calm demeanor unsettled those who thrived on chaos, and her devotion to justice often placed her at odds with divine politics. Yet Athena remained steadfast. She did not seek popularity, she sought progress. She became the protector of heroes, the advisor of kings, and the embodiment of balance. Her temple, the Parthenon, stood as a testament to her influence. Its columns reaching toward the heavens, its sculptures telling stories of triumph and intellect. Mortals prayed to her, not for miracles, but for clarity. Warriors sought her favor, not for brute strength, but for strategy. She was a goddess who taught that victory was not in domination, but in discipline. As Athens grew, so did Athena's legend. She was no longer just the daughter of Zeus, she was the mind of Olympus. Her birth had defied nature, her rise had defied tradition, and her reign would defy time. But her journey was far from over. Athena's presence in the mortal world was never passive. She didn't descend in thunder or demand temples built in haste. Instead, she appeared in moments of crisis, in flashes of insight, in the quiet resolve of those who chose reason over rage. Her wisdom was not just divine, it was practical, tactical, and deeply human. And through her guidance, mortals achieved greatness not by brute force, but by clarity of thought. Among her most famous protégés was Odysseus, the clever king of Ithaca. In the chaos of the Trojan War, where gods played favorites and heroes fell to pride, Athena chose Odysseus not for his strength, but for his mind. She whispered strategies into his ear, helped him devise the Trojan horse, and stood by him through 10 long years of wandering. When Poseidon cursed Odysseus to roam the seas, Athena remained his anchor. She guided him through monsters, temptations, and despair, always reminding him that survival required more than courage, it required cunning. Odysseus' return to Ithaca wasn't just a homecoming. It was a triumph of intellect over adversity, and Athena was the silent architect behind it. But Athena's relationship with mortals was not always nurturing. Her wisdom demanded humility, and when mortals failed to show it, the consequences were swift. The tale of Arachne remains one of the most haunting examples. Arachne was a gifted weaver, so skilled that her tapestries rivaled the gods. When she boasted that her art surpassed even Athena's, the goddess disguised herself as an old woman and warned her to be humble. Arachne refused. She challenged Athena to a contest, and the goddess accepted. Both wove masterpieces. Athena's depicted the glory of Olympus, while Arachne's exposed the gods' flaws and cruelties. Her work was flawless, but her message was bold. Athena, though impressed, was enraged, not by the skill, but by the defiance. A mortal had dared to mock the divine. In a moment of fury, Athena destroyed the tapestry and cursed Arachne, transforming her into a spider doomed to weave forever. It was a punishment that revealed the complexity of Athena's character. She was not a goddess of blind mercy. Her justice was sharp, and her expectations were high. She rewarded humility, punished arrogance, and demanded discipline. Wisdom, in her eyes, was not just knowledge, it was knowing one's place in the order of things. This duality made Athena one of the most revered and feared deities in the Greek pantheon. She was a warrior, but not a destroyer. She was a strategist, not a schemer. She was a virgin goddess not out of purity, but out of autonomy. She belonged to no man, no god, no tradition. Her temples were places of learning, not indulgence. Her worshippers were philosophers, artisans, and leaders. She was invoked before battles, not for brute strength, but for clarity. Her shield bore the head of Medusa, a reminder that terror could be conquered by intellect. Athena's influence extended beyond myth. She became the patron of Athens, a city that embodied her values. Under her guidance, Athens flourished as a center of democracy, philosophy, and art. The Parthenon, her temple, stood as a testament to balance and beauty. Its columns reached toward the heavens. Its sculptures told stories of triumph and intellect. In Athens, wisdom was not just admired, it was institutionalized. Debates, dialogues, and reasoned governance became the norm. And though the city faced wars and decline, its legacy endured, carried forward by the ideals Athena had instilled. Even in deathless myth, Athena's story feels timeless. She was born from thought, not flesh. She rose without conquest. She ruled without tyranny. Her power lay not in domination, but in influence. She taught that victory was not in overpowering others, but in understanding them. That justice was not vengeance, but balance. That leadership was not command, but clarity. In the pantheon filled with passion, chaos, and indulgence, Athena stood apart, calm, composed, and eternal. Today, her legacy lives on not just in ruins and stories, but in the very idea of wisdom itself. Every time a leader chooses diplomacy over war, every time a student seeks knowledge over impulse, every time a society values reason over rage, Athena's spirit endures. She's more than a myth. She's a mirror, reflecting the best of what humanity can be when guided by thought, not fear. And so, the story of Athena ends not with a battle, but with a legacy. She was the goddess who taught mortals to think, to question, to build. She was born from the mind of Zeus, but she became the mind of civilization. Her birth was a miracle, her life was a lesson, and her legacy is a challenge to rise above instinct, to embrace intellect, and to seek wisdom in all things. If Athena's story moved you, drop a comment below and tell us what wisdom means to you. Which part of her journey inspired you most? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more epic tales from Greek mythology.